we're actually playing some Premier League games today, which is a bit of a novelty for this season. They're important ones too if we want to be in Europe next season. Hello and welcome to Season 12, Episode 11 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the last two games of our Premier League season, away to Man United and away against Southampton. They're massively important games as well. If we look at the league table, Man United are the other team who have a game in hand on everyone else, because obviously they've been on the same Europa League run that we've been on. And they're also one of the teams that we're chasing down. So we need to beat them, really, and even if we beat them, we're still only going to go up to 8th place going into that last day, hoping that they then slip up and we can beat Southampton as well, who in their own right are a pretty decent side. It's important because we don't want to have to rely on winning the Europa League to be able to get into Europe next season, because the pressure will be horrible and I probably won't make it through the match. So really, really important. The big problem with playing Man United is obviously Franco Valverde is on loan from them, so he's not able to play today. Other than that, we've got a pretty strong side out there. Matt Lee in goal, Walker Peters, Dane, Zabala and Lazarov in defence. Aaron Kuhl comes in midfield along with Chris and Yusuf. And then Vaughan is going to be behind Larsio and Full. Christian Arendt is in training again, but not fit enough to start. Nuri is getting a little bit closer to being able to play. I need to get him some game time in these two games so that he's ready for the Europa League final, because he was really important earlier in the season when he was playing, and obviously needs the match fitness. Same with Arendt, really. They both need to get some game time against United and or Southampton. Oh, this isn't going to go well, is it? David De Gea is still in goal for Man United. He must be about 80 by now. 36 years old. 136 games for Spain, look. Wow, what do you know? He's played there a long time. Never went to Real Madrid then. Look at that. The man never gets injured either. He has played every single Manchester United League game for the last 8 years. And even in the 2 seasons before that, he only missed 1 game a season. That is insane. He must do yoga or something. Right. Let's, hopefully, after all that football, he'll be a bit tired and he'll let in a few goals today. I'm still waiting for Modou Fall to get back into some kind of form. That's the one. I was pondering between these 2 videos, yesterday's and today's, if you're wondering. Perhaps if we can win the Europa League and get into the Champions League, that might be enough to get Modou Fall to stay at the club next season, which would be nice. Sort his head out, after all. Yeah, we've just conceded a goal. That's not really part of the plan, because if we lose this game, 7th place, there's no way. We can't do it. And that isn't ideal at all. Although I suppose the upside of that would mean we could rest a whole load of players against Southampton and keep them ready for the Europa League final, which has its positives, I guess, because they're already tired. It's been a long, long season. Some of these players must have played 50, 60 games this season. In fact, we'll have a look. Who will have played pretty much every game? Zabala, probably, or Dane. They play a lot. We'll have a look at half-time to see how many games they've played this season. Murat has just scored again for Man United. Our Premier League season is over, basically, at this point. Luke Shaw's still playing for Man United as well. Well, I never. I mean, that's just a good finish. Matt Lee's just, yeah. Oh, you scored, did you? I'm throwing myself around for the final. That's the problem, I guess. No one wants to get injured at this point. They're all being far too careful. Right, let's have a look at Zabala. He's played 52 games this season. They're shattered, a lot of them. Dane has played... he's only played 44. But still, it's a lot of football. Matt Lee, in fact, would have played a lot of games. 49. Yeah, we need to be resting some of these against Southampton, don't we? Well, they're all fired up for the second half. Anyway, perhaps we'll have a ridiculous comeback. That would be very pleasant, because obviously we want to keep some form and some confidence going into the big game against Bilbao. Talking of form, Modou Fall's just scored a goal, and it was a good finish as well. He's absolutely leathered that into the bottom corner. You couldn't have placed that any better, and he hit it hard as well. Look at this. De Gea's not wanting to risk an injury while getting behind that. And there we go. Perhaps there is still a chance. We've still got to get 2 more goals for 7th to be a possibility. I mean, if it finishes like this, it's a 7-point gap. And we're going to end up a mid-table team, which is actually... I mean, the board will still be happy with that. That was our pre-season expectation. We've been performing above expectation for a couple of seasons now, but we'd like to carry on doing that and finish in a European spot. Because I'd be a bit miffed if I was Modou Fall or Carlos Sabala or any of these other players, Lazarov. They all want to be playing for proper big clubs, and if we can't even finish in a European spot, it's going to make it that much harder to keep them at the club next season. Right, Lazio is not having a good game, so let's give Arendt some game time. Aaron Cool also not having a good game, so let's give Nuri some game time. There you go. This was the plan. Give them both 20 minutes. Get some fitness into them, hopefully. Although they'll probably both snap. Right. We've only had 3 shots. Man United have absolutely dominated us today. And the thing is, they've played just as many games as we have. But clearly they're more used to it. Let's give Fritsche some game time as well. He's not been playing a lot lately. I need to make sure I don't risk upsetting him by never playing him. But he just... It's the curse of the utility man, because he can play in so many different positions. I just kind of view him as a backup for lots of positions. So he's never my first choice anywhere. Fall's just scored again. Oh, can we squeeze one more in? Because that would be awesome. Right. I mean, that's a good header from Modou Fall. If he's coming back to some form now, he's timed it really nicely. Although he was out of form for far too long. So he's not timed it that nicely. But we'd rather it happen now than mid-June. Aaron, if he was match fit, could have been a winner there. Oh, don't go and counter-attack on us, you monsters. Oh, no. Matt Lee with a good save. I mean, we don't deserve anything out of this game. Man United will be rightly a bit miffed that we've got back into it at all. And if we go and steal a winner now, we've completely mugged them, but... who cares? We want to finish in a European spot. We've enjoyed Europe this season. We want another crack at it. Right. Oh, I thought we were going to set up a counter-attack there with Yusuf, but it's not to be. Although it could happen here. Yusuf puts it through to Fall. Oh, if that had just been placed slightly better. Although Chris has kept the attack alive. Can Fall... oh, there's no time. Arendt was waiting in the middle as well. And that is not enough. I mean, it's a good result in its own right, but it's not enough. The highest we can finish now is 8th. That's not going to be a European spot. And that's disappointing. Right, let's go and play Southampton. They'll probably be quite a rotated team in that game because I think it's only a week now until we play Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, but let's go and play them anyway. Right, so today's game against Southampton, we have 2 priorities. 1, keep as many players fit as we possibly can, hence the heavily rotated side you see before you. But also, we want to try and keep some momentum going into the Europa League final. It's only 3 days after this game, so we can't afford to go to Southampton and get absolutely smashed. So it's a bit of a risk playing this lineup, but hopefully a justified risk because some of these players are tired, especially at the back, as you saw against Man United. So we're resting both of the centre-backs. Lida and Sokolov come in. We've got a couple of players saying goodbye today as well. Ben Garrett will be playing his last game for the club, as will João Teixeira in midfield. Walker Peters and Lazarov for the fullbacks. In fact, I might just bring Fritsche in for Lazarov, just because I don't want to risk him. And I was just saying a moment ago that we don't play Fritsche often enough. Midfield, Valverde, Teixeira, Yusuf, and then Martin. Probably a goodbye from him as well, which is a shame because he's only 23 and I wish I hadn't sold him. Behind Lazio and Fall up front. Nuri and Arendt are still sat there on the bench, still desperate for match fitness, and will both come on at some point because they'll both need to be involved in the game on Wednesday. Lazarov is just being rested. He's also just broken his own record for assists in a season. 21 assists he's made this season now from right back. That'll do. If only we could find a left back who was that good. Hopefully Will Leach will become that left back. Next season's going to be a big year for him because Walker Peters is getting on a bit now. Right, Yusuf can't find Teixeira. But he finds him that time. Martin loses the ball, but Yusuf, with a third attempt, finds Martin, who can't quite feed it into Lazio. Almost mispronounced my hero's name. Oh, that's not what we needed. Cool, Origi's got 28 goals this season. that's one thing I've noticed. The further into this save I get, there are some ridiculously high amounts of goals going in. I get all excited about Fall and Arendt and the amount of goals they score. Neither of them are even at 20 goals this season, though, because they spend so much time injured. Divock Origi's got 28 goals. That guy who plays for Chelsea, Carles, who always scores against us, when we played them a month ago, he got his 47th goal of the season. It's a bit mad, really. I don't remember that being... Oh, Origi again. I don't remember that being the case 10 years ago in the game. It seems to be something that happens with the regens as the game goes. Although obviously Origi's not a regen, but I don't know. Is it a case of teams playing dodgy old players? I mean, you sometimes get, when I have long-term FM saves, you sometimes get to this point where you have, Lacio's injured. He can come off straight away. I'm not going to risk Arendt this early though, so Thomas can come on for him. What's wrong with Lacio? Potential head injury. Hopefully he's just cut his head or something. Because I don't want him to be a risk for the Europa League final, or else I won't have to have my hair cut like him. We did say they were the rules. Yeah, but you get this sort of transitional period for a few seasons where the AI managers seem very, very reluctant to let go of the players, the real players from the start of the game, and you get players in their mid to late 30s still playing regularly for Premier League sides. And it usually goes away after a couple of seasons. I mean, we saw it in the Man United game where De Gea and Luke Shaw were both still in the team, even though they're in the mid-30s. But then that time passes, the regens take over, and everything goes back to normal. But I guess that's what we're seeing with this crazy amount of goals that are being scored this season. There's a lot of old goalkeepers and old defenders about. Oh, this was not the plan for today. We're going to finish 9th. For goodness sake, we're 4-0 down. Has he scored all 4 of them? That's ridiculous if he has. We're going to be bubbling with confidence going into Wednesday's game, aren't we? Blooming heck. What is the world coming to? Right. I mean, what do I do now? There's no coming back in this game at this point, so there's not even any point making any changes. What a rubbish end to the league season. I mean, it's been a poor season in the league. We've focused on the cup competitions too much. I think next season, assuming we can get into Europe again, which means winning next week. I mean, if we are in the Champions League, we just have to play the reserves in the FA Cup. We can't have the two big cup runs going on at the same time because we've let the Premier League slip, and we are better than being a 9th place Premier League side, I think. And obviously, if we now lose on Wednesday, this has to go down. It's quite a disappointing season because we'll have come out of it without a trophy, because we're not counting the Community Shield because that's stupid. But we'll have come out of it without a trophy and with a poor Premier League position, no European football, and all our star players will want to leave. And that will be a disaster. Right. I mean, are we going to do anything if Fritzscher's burst through? Finds Thomas. Thomas should have scored. He doesn't, but Fall scores the rebound. At least he's still scoring goals. I suppose that bodes well for Wednesday. In fact, I might even take him off now he's got his goal and give Arendt half an hour. It's a nice little finish. And bless him, he's racing to get the ball as if we've got a chance of getting back into the game. You've got to admire that in a man. Right, let's bring Arendt. In fact, I'm going to bring Nuri on now as well, give them both half an hour. I know we've made all our substitutions with half an hour of the game left, but what's the worst that can happen? Someone gets injured and we lose 5 or 6-1 rather than 4-1. I want match fitness into 2 very important players. Right, Fritzscher crosses in. Arendt, nearly there. I mean, look at those stats. It's been an even game. It's because we've got Ben Garrett in goal. That's the difference Matt Lee has made to our side this season. He makes the important saves that Garrett just never really did. So yeah, we've given him his nice goodbye in the Premier League. He can go off and play in MLS now. Can they sign players mid-season? I mean, he's got another year on his contract, so he'll only leave if someone wants to sign him, and it's only been MLS clubs showing an interest. But I don't know if they can sign players at this point of the season. The Teixeira deal fell through the other day. That had been stalling since March because the MLS transfer window closed. So perhaps they won't be able to sign either of them now. And I don't think either of them have got their contracts up in the summer. So we say it's going to be a goodbye, but they both might do another season yet. Oh, that was awful. And Garrett, you can hear that I'm slagging him off. That was a brilliant save. Hasn't done it enough today, though. Right. Well, that's that, I think. Unless we score here, which we don't. And that is, what a terrible end to a really indifferent Premier League season. We'll do the post-mortem tomorrow after the Europa League final. Hopefully it'll be a buoyant positive one because we'll have won that, but we'll see. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on tomorrow's Europa League final special, and thank you very much for watching.